Welcome to the She Nailed It show, where faith meets foundation and every renovation tells a redemption story. I'm your host, Danette Galvis, and we're not just transforming a house, we're rebuilding lives. On this show, we'll talk about real challenges, real faith, and the blessings that come when you don't give up. From recovery and restoration to faith and fresh starts, this is where we discover that what once broke us is actually building us. So grab your hard hat and your heart, because on the She Nailed It show, we're fixing up homes, finding purpose, and proving that with a little faith and a lot of courage, you can nail it too. Welcome to the She Nailed It show. I am your host, Danette Galvis, and I am so excited to have our very first episode airing. And my special guest today is Tresa Todd, a contributing author in the She Nailed It best-selling book on Amazon. I'm so honored to have her today. But a little bit about what we're doing here before I introduce Tresa is a little bit about what's behind the scenes and where we're at. The She Nailed It book was launched in December, and it was best-selling book, and all of the proceeds of the book do go to help scholarship women coming out of treatment from drugs and alcohol, inpatient treatment, coming into a sober living environment. It's a full circle moment for me to be able to host the TV show and have it be inside the sober living environment, along with having the authors come and tour the home, see the home, and it just has a full purpose. So thank you so much for today and joining in on this show. And to introduce our guest, Tresa Todd is the founder of the Women's Real Estate Investing Network, the largest and fastest growing community of its kind. Of it in the world, I would be so bold to say. At 50 years old, she chose faith over fear, leaving a 25-year career to build a movement empowering thousands of women to thrive in real estate and faith. Thank you so much, Tresa, for being here. It's such an honor to have you as the first guest of the She Nailed It show in season 1. Thank you for being here.
Well, the honor is mine. I'm so excited to be a part of this. It was an honor to be asked to be a part of the book, and now to be sitting here with you on your very first She Nailed It show.
Big celebration.
Yes.
Happening today. And Tresa is already a best-selling author. She wrote the book Without Fear of Her Future, and has been a part of now 5 books, I believe. So best-selling author, and then the co-host with Melissa Baker for the podcast Without Fear of Her Future. Now tell us a little bit, the viewers that haven't met you before, where you got the name of Without Fear of Future.
That is pretty exciting. So when we knew that we were going to go online with teaching real estate, because investing prior to 2020, we just held real live events, and we didn't really have to have a name for it. But when we decided we were going to go online and host master classes, we needed a name for these master classes. And I literally had sent out a text to my closest people saying, hey, I need a name for this. And so I was getting back some texts and all that, but I was sitting in my office, and I actually had that scripture on hanging in my office, coming from Proverbs 31:25, where it says, "She laughs without fear of her future." She's clothed with, the entire scripture says, she's clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of her future. And I just happened to, look up at it, and I was like, wow, in 2020, that was we all know that was a horrible time. People were losing their jobs and their retirements and all the things. And I was just watching so many businesses close down and so much loss. And this was in April of 2020. And I thought, more than ever, women are, they're so afraid of their future. They don't know what to do. And I knew that God had given me an answer with real estate investing. And I was like, that's the perfect name is, and I wanted women to be clothed with strength and dignity instead of just being fearful of our future. And I thought, okay, well, without fear of her future is going to be the name of the podcast. So that quick, I texted everybody in the thread. And I'm like, I got the name. And so we really didn't know if we would change the name eventually, but now we just had our 55th masterclass. And, I think we're sticking with it. I love it.
It's clearly working. And then with the podcast as well, that helps draw women that are seeking, and may not know what they're seeking when they join in on the podcast, because you're talking about so many things.
Yeah.
Not just real estate.
Yeah.
Well, tell the viewers, in a way, what changed for you and how did you get into real estate investing? Because you said you were in a career for 25 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's good retirement. Speaking with a long-term career like that. So what was that, or what realizing?
Well, I never planned on making a change. I had been in ophthalmology, so in the medical field, for 25 years, and thought that that's what I would do until someday I would be able to retire and live a life, And, but I had 3 grown sons who had, after college, had become wildly successful real estate investors. And so for 3 years, they kept saying, Mom, come. I lived in Tyler, a couple hours away from them. They were here in Dallas, and they kept saying, Mom, come let us teach you how to invest in real estate. Well, I would always say, I'll think about it. But I'm going to tell you, I wasn't really thinking about it because I was now at 50 years old. I'm like, I'm not, I wasn't looking to change careers. I was very content in my career, had friends, and I was also in ministry. And so I was just I had a good life. And one of the things that I have learned is sometimes a good life is the enemy of a great life. And, God had so much more for me, but because I was just content in my little life, I had learned how to live within that little bubble. And, so anyway, at one point, my youngest son called me about 9:00 at night, and he had looked over all my finances a few months before, and he hadn't really said much. But this night, he said, Mom, it's time. He said, do you realize that if you work a few more years, I was 50. He said, actually, if you work until you're 60, he said, you would have about 7 years of money left if you just kept living exactly how you're living. And trust me, it was not extravagant at all. And he said, and then you'll have to go get some kind of a job. Because you're going to literally be living on, very, very little month to month. And I think I had just had my head in the sand. I'd never really looked at the numbers. And this is what I've learned, Danette, most women are not looking at the numbers. They have no idea what life is really going to look like. They just have this dream, like I do, that some days we're going to retire and it's all going to be well. And that's the American dream. And the American dream used to work, but it doesn't really work anymore. And he showed me the numbers and walked me through it. And I was like, oh my gosh, but the beautiful part of that also is God had already been preparing me because I was teaching a Bible study. It was a 12-week Bible study out of the book of Joshua. I taught the whole book of Joshua. And, as I had studied and dug into it, which is what you have to do if you're going to teach it, the Lord just began to and the story is where Joshua, Moses has died. It's left Joshua's responsibility to take the children of Israel into the promised land. And one scripture that just kept coming up was God was saying to Joshua, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And I felt like the Lord himself was saying to me, Tresa, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? And so I made this promise to God. This was 2017 and in January 2017. And I made this promise for the rest of my life. When I have a decision to make, whatever the bravest thing is, that I'm going to know that's the decision I'm supposed to take. And I'm thinking it's going to be, I don't know what I was thinking, that those kind of, how brave, But when my son called me that night, that was in March. And I remember hanging up that phone and sitting there going, God, is this what you meant? You're really asking me? Because the only way that they could teach me, they were saying, Mom, you've got to quit your job. which also meant I needed to sell my house. I needed to quit my job. I needed to move to Dallas and leave everything that I knew and was comfortable with. And so, but I'd made that promise to God. So I did it. I put my house on the market. I gave my 2 weeks notice. And on April 1st was my first official day as a real estate investor. And, so that's how that all came about. Yeah.
Great. Well, stay tuned with us. We have to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we will hear about what's happening now with Tresa and the Real Estate Investing Network and where she's going next. Stay tuned.
In life, we all face valleys, moments of pain, challenge, and struggle. But it's what we do in those moments that defines us. She nailed it. Inspiring stories of going from valley to victory brings together powerful women who turned adversity into strength and strength into purpose. Led by Danette Galvis with chapters from inspiring voices including Terry DeGrande, Erica Butler, Corey Beth Lepowski, Tresa Todd, Catherine Sorensen, Katika Estevez, Christina Good, Denise Sandkamp, Megan McDermott, Kristen Williams, and Jessica Weaver. These stories will inspire you to believe in your own comeback, reminding us all that victory is always possible. She nailed it. Inspiring stories of going from valley to victory. Available now on Amazon. One book, countless stories of hope. Get your copy today.
Okay, well, welcome back to the She Nailed It show. If you are just tuning in, we have a special guest today on our first episode to air on the first season ever. Tresa Todd, the founder of the Women's Real Estate Investing Network. And it is such an honor. She is my mentor as well. And I'm a coach inside the Women's Real Estate Investing Network for flipping and remodeling. So to have her as a guest is full circle. And if you listen to the first part of our show today, she speaks about how she got into real estate investing. And so now, just tying that up a little bit, what I hear is how two scriptures really affected what decisions she made. And I even think about just the other day when I was conversing with God and I asked a question and then the answer came. And then I started to be like, but it's like trying to talk myself out of it. And I'm like, Lord, I just need a confirmation. And then I hear him say, I gave it to you.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were just saying when you read the scripture in Joshua about, is this what you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so you kind of start to get in his face of second guessing that.
Yeah.
But God is great and gracious in that he gently showed you, this is it. And then with 2020, COVID happening, what happened to your business after COVID, after having a person meet us?
Well,
where does that change?
Okay. Well, so first of all, whenever I just joined my sons and they began to, I was just an investor. I had no dream or any idea that I would ever start a women's real estate investing network. All I was going to do was go learn it myself. But as I began to learn, and I mean, I was a woman who had just worked 25 years and the most amount of money I'd worked up to was $65,000 a year. And my very first deal, I made $20,000. I mean, I'd made more money in the first 4 months than I had in my entire 401k after 25 years. And so I was like, women need to know that they can do this because I understood the same myth. I believe the same myth that most women believe. First of all, I was too old. I was 50 when I changed careers. I thought you already had to have money to become an investor. And I thought, oh my gosh, it would be something really hard to do. And so as my son, I wanted women like me that were making between $65,000 and $100,000 a year to know they too could be in. And I was going to all of these networking events with my sons. And it was like maybe 100 men and 7 women in the room. Wow. And so I was like, where are all the women? Women need to know. Yeah. And so again, it was my sons who said, well, Mom, why don't you start something for women and you teach them? And I was like, I might do that someday. And, but they put the pressure on me. And so with only 14 months experience, which is just laughable. I don't know who I thought I was. I started and I had my very first meeting to teach women. I didn't know if women would show up because I didn't know if women wanted to learn how to invest in real estate. I was scared to death because I was like, what if they ask me something and I don't know the answer? And they did, But I just stood on that scripture again. Have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? And I knew I had something that women wanted. I didn't know if they wanted it, but I knew they needed it. And so, we started hosting live events. And then, of course, you asked about 2020. And so that's what we were doing. We were hosting events all over the Metroplex, had even went off to Houston and had meetings there in hotels. And then, of course, when COVID hit, everything shut down. And I knew that women needed it now more than ever. And so that's when we went online and started teaching. And again, never dreamed that many women would want. Our very first class that we taught online was 699 ladies. Wow. Showed up for that. And now we have had over 250,000 women come through our master class, all over the nation, all 50 states. We have students in all 50 states. And, we host an annual live conference where we make history. We've made history 4 years in a row of having women only, thousands of women only real estate investors in a room. And no other place in the world has that ever been done. And so it's just absolutely, I never dreamed, but God is so good. And not only do I share, just how to invest in real estate and all the strategies and all of the things, but I also share my faith because I don't believe I would be here without God. And so I'm not going to try to convince all these women that I've done it by myself because I had God's help. And with God and the specialized knowledge, girl, there's nothing you can't do. It doesn't matter how old you are.
And you built it from start.
Yeah.
So tell everyone a little bit about your start, just to give someone that might be wanting to become a real estate investor or watching this for the first time and what is that? The point of entry, I'm a real estate agent of 30 years, but you don't have to have your real estate license to become a real estate investor, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah.
I would learn this special knowledge in the real estate school. So talk to the individual that might be on the fence or upset at their job or not enough, or like, oh, do I need to review my 401?
Yes.
You think that
absolutely,
until you put a pencil to it like your son did for you
Yeah.
and helped you break free from the sand and get into some action. So now the ladies or viewers that might want to do it.
I would love to. Well, first of all, I just, again, want you to know that anybody can do this. You don't have to have a big stash of money. You don't have to have a license. And it just, we have so many students that are, between, over 50, all the way up in their 60s and even a couple in their 70s. But, just like you did, Danette, you saw an ad for the Without Fear of Her Future masterclass. And it's a 5-day masterclass that you come, it's $17. And we are going to teach you, they're 2 hours a night, and we're going to give you 10 hours of just strategy and specialized knowledge, financial education that most people don't even understand or know. And it's just, that's your point of entry. So come through a masterclass if this is something that you're interested in. That's exactly what Danette did a few years ago. And now she is one of the coaches inside the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. So she's teaching women how to flip and all of that. So and then of course, we've also became just amazing friends. And so it's just a network of amazing, powerful, goal-oriented women that wanted to change their lives. And that's what we're seeing every single day.
Yes. If you don't know, or you're on the fence and trying to think of something, or nervous or scared, that's how everybody starts.
Yes.
So you're not alone, and you're coming into a network of women who are ready to lock arms with you and teach and help. And you've got the fearless leader here, but also a staff, a group of coaches. I'm not the only one. And it is just such an amazing, I would say it's so exciting to hear some of the testimonies of the women that have been through the masterclass, that have been through the network, been through the training, and they have gone on to do amazing things with their portfolio of real estate. And the strategies, talk a little bit about maybe a strategy that they might learn. Yeah, because there's several strategies that most people don't know are available, like other people's money.
Yeah. Yes. That's when my sons were trying to talk me into leaving. I'm like, I don't have money to buy real estate. And they said, Mom, we use other people's money. And I'm like, who's going to give me money to, buy real estate, but it really works. I now give people money to invest in real estate because we have we get an amazing ROI on that money. So yes, we use other people's money, but we teach how to wholesale properties, you're not even buying a property. You're literally getting a property under contract, and then you sell the contract. One of the easiest ways to make money. Obviously, we teach how to flip houses and make a lot of flipping money. I call that strategy. And the average profit on a flip is about $65,000. We teach you a formula that you use for everything that we do. Again, you have a coach here that can coach you all the way through, all the things that you need to know with flipping. And then we teach rentals, how to purchase rentals, and even Airbnbs, short-term, mid-term, or long-term rentals. And then we also teach how to, if you've got money sitting in in your 401k or savings, how to move that money to like a self-directed IRA or a whole life policy. And then you can lend that money out and make 12, 15, 18% on your money. So those are just a few of the strategies that we teach that
is amazing. Right? You don't get to learn that unless you are a part of a network of people, and women in the network want to support other women in the network. And I have had a private money lender that wanted to support because the deal worked, the numbers worked, and she wanted to make interest on the money and be your own bank. And that's how she's making passive income.
Yes.
And that is where a lot of women in the network are only in there just to lend their money.
Yes.
So for that reason alone, if you're looking to start a real estate portfolio and have some assets and grow in your legacy for your family, there are women inside the network waiting to help you with that.
Yeah.
So I love how God has just transitioned your life. And how long has the network been around?
Well, when we started having live meetings, we began in 2019, late at the end of 2019. And now we just are about to we're in 2026. Yeah.
So 7 years.
Yeah.
And what an amazing journey. Every deal is different.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And there's no, it doesn't happen twice, I guess you could say. No deal is the same.
Yeah.
So God's not finished with your story. Tell us a little bit if there is anything next, what's coming for you in 2026. I know you're extremely goal oriented. So
yeah, I love a new year. I love a new year. It's like this new, fresh energy of like, okay, what's up for this year? And so my goal for 2026 is to make the Women's Real Estate Investors Network more amazing than it's already been. And I want to pour my heart into that. And our goal is to just help these ladies find abundance and walk in that success and have more women showing up to our live event and receiving awards and just changing their lives and all of that. So that's my number one goal for 2026.
The award ceremonies at Rain Live, I was told the other day that the line was like out the door of the main hall, which now was hosting 2,000 women. And the women are on fire about walking across the stage. And that is a goal for many women, is to walk across the stage and receive an award. So I love that you also give back in that way, because that's encouraging the next woman to do the same thing in the following year, setting goals. So it's just so exciting to watch. This is the largest women's real estate investing network in the world. There is nothing like it. And just a special place to be and a special thing to be a part of. You saying yes, you never know what your real estate portfolio may look like, what God is going to do. The kingdom impact and the legacy that is also a part of this network and what Tresa teaches is not just strategy, it's mindset.
Yeah.
It's faith. It's being brave and dreaming big and making your goals bigger than what you've ever imagined before. And so I just am so grateful, because here I am sitting in a sober living home. My story is a story of recovery, coming on 10 years of sobriety. Never did I ever think I would own real estate with other people's money. and build assets by remodeling it and flipping it, refinancing it, having equity in the house. And then now I get to have an impact on the inside with sober living. And it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for the impact you've made on my life so that I can turn around and make impact to build the kingdom together. And it's the fruit of your labor, the fruit of your fear, let's just say, because you were great. And now I get to help other women lock arms and do the same thing. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Now tell people how they could find you if they did want to join the network. Or reach out in any way.
Well, you can find us on the website, and it's Women's, REIN, Women's, REIN, which is Women's Real Estate Investors Network. Or you can also find us at withoutfearofherfuture.com, withoutfearofherfuture.com to sign up for our next masterclass. And I just want to take a minute to say thank you for having me. I love you. I'm so thankful for your friendship and how you serve the women inside our network. And I'm honored to be here.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here in the studio. Never been used before. First episode. Can't wait to see what comes of all of this. So thank you so much for being brave and inspiring to so many women like me.
You bet.
All right. Thank you, and tune in to the next episode next week of She Nailed It with me, your host, Danette Galvis. That's a wrap on this episode of the She Nailed It show. I am so honored you spent this time with us today. If you enjoyed the show, click follow or subscribe, drop a review, and share the episode. This really makes an impact for the next person needing courage along their journey too. Want to stay connected and be inspired by more stories and victories? Visit kingdomrehabher.com and follow me on all social media platforms. Until next time, keep nailing it one step at a time.